I moved to Australia with my family back in 1989 from Jakarta, Indonesia. I basically knew 3 words or 3 phrases, and they were hello, goodbye, and thank you. I ended up in tech marketing for the next decade and a half, working for companies such as Salesforce, CA Technologies, a couple of Australian startups, and my current role at the moment is working for a fintech startup called Pin Payments based in Melbourne. I guess when I reflected back on how I got to where I am, a lot of it's to do with owning my origin story. Like our friend, the migrant from another planet, moving to a different country actually resulted in us finding powers that you probably, or capabilities that you probably would not have had you actually stayed where you were before. Being a migrant is hard. Being a migrant is not easy. One thing that I remembered was that every day was a challenge, but every day you just have to face it, wake up and figure out that you just need to learn something, just chip at it every day. And it was actually my 120th job application that actually got me my first start in marketing. Looking back, it's not about the 120 applications, rejection, job interviews that actually got me that first job. It's all about all the steps in between, trying to figure out that everything counts. You just have to chip at it one thing at a time. So in my own experience, I was lucky enough, I worked in the UK for a couple of years, and even though the Australian and UK culture is quite similar, but there are differences in the way things are worked. It's because the culture is set, it's the way expectations are set. I was able to challenge the status quo and being able to ask, why is this different? And just being able to have the courage to actually say, can we change it? Led me to a lot of projects that I would not have ever had if I actually said, this is the status quo, it's just the way things are. It pushes you to do a lot of things that you probably would not have had you not have this additional lens. My own experience as a migrant is when you come from a culture that's of high distance where things such as seniority matters, such as the type of history that you have matters, that's actually also part of your communication. It's not just about how you speak, it's not just about your opinion, it's all this history that comes with someone when you actually enter a room. And being able to actually be sensitive about navigating all these different things and include that as part of your communication is a really important part of your skill set. For me, it was really, really handy as I changed my roles, ended up working with a lot of global teams. It's realizing that when you come into a meeting, everyone has a very different idea what a meeting means. Being able to actually manage these expectations as well as this type of communication skill was actually something that I was luckily able to do because I had to adjust my thinking by being exposed to a different culture. It's just being able to understand that there is a different perspective at play, and communication, not just language, is a key part of that. Grit is a really important one because I think it made you realize that you can actually push harder than you thought simply by being in a different environment. Always question the status quo because that's how you differentiate yourself. You have a different opinion, you have a different part, and that's actually a good thing. And the last one is communication. Embrace what you have, even though you might not speak the same language, you have subtle understanding of how things work that the person next to you probably doesn't, and that's again a good thing. But also being able to explain why it's different, why it's a good thing is also a skill set in itself.